I coach people to not say that, and even my clients or prospective clients to not label markets as such, because it's all relative.
Hey everybody, Patrick Merrill, selling the beautiful coast. Welcome to Lift It. I've got Kevin here with me. We're going to talk about some things that we both are kind of dealing with in our lives and in sales and real estate and just a little bit of everything. Kevin, we're down here on the coast, so we got our little storm coming by us this morning. So hopefully everybody in Texas and Louisiana, I hadn't watched the news this morning, but hopefully it won't be very devastating or affect too many people with the storm coming through. We'll be praying for everybody for sure. How are things where you at, Kevin?
Things are great. So I'm in Michigan. Are you familiar with the Great Lakes state? Have you been to Michigan?
I have never been there. It's on my list. Now my list, I want to go down to the Keys and I want to drive up. I would like to go from the Keys all the way up and go through the Carolinas and everything.
Yeah.
I've never been there. I want to go. I really do want to go. Savannah, I've seen so much about Savannah, and it's like, Savannah reminds me of a lot of places around here, just looking at it and things. But no, I'm definitely wanting to get there.
It's beautiful. I mean, so Michigan is, most people, when you say Michigan, they get it confused with Minnesota somehow. Probably because of the concept of lakes, but Lake Michigan, little known fact, has more coastline than any other state in the U.S., more than California, because we're wrapped on Lake Michigan on this side. We got Superior up top here, but then we got Huron, and so we've got all these great lakes around us, and it's just quite amazing to see for the first time. If you were to be dropped in front of Lake Michigan or Lake Superior, it doesn't matter. It just popped you on there, and you didn't have any context about how you got there or anything around you. You would feel like you were standing at the Pacific or the Atlantic, because it's so massive. It sinks ships. These are not your mama's backyard lakes. These are massive bodies of water that act in many ways 20, 30 foot waves, sinking ship stuff. So that creates beauty.
It seems like that would be so calm because where it is, it just doesn't seem like it would be. But when you said that, and when I see that and think about that, I was like, I had no idea the water was that rough. You know what I'm saying? And I was watching, I don't know, one of the things on the YouTube, and a lot of people, I like watching the people that are out in the woods, walking and camping and doing things like that. Because I'm limited on a lot of my walking. I used to walk every morning, but my feet are having issues, so I've had to slow up on my walking. But it's like, all right, I'm gonna see who's walking in Minnesota today, and it's so cool because they will take you out, and I go on a 30, 45-minute walk, and sometimes they're not talking, so you're just listening to the nature and you're watching through their camera. And I love being able to do that. I'm seeing parts of the world I never thought I would actually be able to go, and hopefully I can go in person one day. But until then, it's so interesting. I love seeing how other people live and how they adapt to their weather and things like that. That's like, you put a foot of snow here, we're screwed.
What city are you in, Patrick?
I'm in Pascagoula. I'm about 30 minutes. I'm between Biloxi and Mobile, Alabama, right on the coast.
Got it. Yeah. A foot of snow where I come from, that's child's play. Like we just plow right through that, man.
We don't know how to drive in snow. It's like if it's the beach that white, I could drive through sand and no problem. Yeah. But put me in snow, no, thank you. No,
right on.
But I love to see it. I don't know. Because y'all kind of have when you think about, plowing snow and getting it off, it's just like, it's a routine where y'all are. If it was here, we'd be like, do what?
Yeah. It's sort of funny too, because, people take care of their lawns. We have these nice lush lawns. And I get that, like lines and patterns and all that. My lawn looks nice. I have someone do it for me because I'm not the lawn guy. But in the wintertime, you got these Michiganders here that they treat their driveways like they would their lawns, like meticulous. They get it down, all the snow's gone, and then when it snows again, they just scrape it all off, and it's beauty. I just need to get through the damn thing. I don't need it to be, I just need to get out of my driveway and get on where I'm going. I don't need it to be all that, right? Because it's just snow. It's not like it's a lawn. So it's funny.
Well, yeah, I'm sure everything. Yeah, I mean, it's been happening for so many years. I'm sure the city and everything has it, or just as about how to do everything and it's in place and all that. Is that
Yeah. Oh,
here
yeah.
we
There's a system.
and everybody's like, how can you handle the hurricanes and all? Because knock on wood, luckily we have notice. So if something's coming, a
Mm-hmm.
storm's coming,
Yeah.
I'm one of the first ones packed up and on the road. See y'all in a couple of days. I'm getting out of here. The
I'm
wind's
out of
not
here.
blowing
Yeah.
up north. So,
Yeah. 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 I
but
do the
hopefully
same.
we got to deal with none of that. How is everything going and how's your business going? It's been, what,
Business is
about 3
great.
months since we talked, and I'm glad
Yeah.
we're getting able to catch back up and check in with each other.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
So
you're
yeah, businesses, I've been doing this for 26 years. I'm not sure if you had that note. So, with business cycles in real estate, having gone through really 4 distinct types of market conditions, this is not something that I don't have the capacity to handle and help others do the same, which is what I'm doing. But I've been through the 4 types of market cycles, and very distinct, all in buyers markets, complete market crashes, extreme seller markets, and now this kind of a weird, soon to be kind of pocket inventory market where there's pent up inventory, interest rates keeping sellers where they are. It's challenging. I would put this one in the category of probably far more challenging than the other types, because when we look at market condition, and someone will say something like it's a bad market or it's a good market. I coach people to not say that, and even my clients or prospective clients to not label markets as such, because it's all relative. A buyer's market we can call it a bad market for the folks that are trying to sell, and the property values have plummeted and there's a lot of foreclosures. Well, that might be, but for buyers, game on. It's like shooting fish in a barrel, picking up properties for 20, 30 grand, right? So is it bad? It's not bad. It's all relative. And so it just ebbs and flows. You just have to know what market you're in. And as a real estate professional, understanding that depending on the market you're in, we need to pivot our marketing message towards the type of market. And that changes. And then also be able to adjust our scripts and dialogues so that they match the message of the moment, the market's message, what people need to hear now to navigate through this challenging time and be able to get them to the finish line, which is a closing table. So that's, last year that was my 25th year, was my best year in production in real estate after 25 years. Yeah. I mean, we pivoted, we went all in and applied a lot of the basic things that really drive business forward. And when certain things are not working, certain things just work every time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's picking up the phone and making a lot of calls and connecting with folks that have a need. So yeah, business is good.
That's awesome. It's been, like you said, kind of weird here as well, market. It's almost, if we put out a new listing, either it sells really fast and everybody wants to go look at it because everybody's got the same buyers looking for the exact same property, So either it sells really quick or it's kind of been lingering. I think it's just weird everywhere, with things going on in the world, and I think that's got a lot of people, and just, it's kind of not an unsure time. It's just kind of it just is a weird vibe. You know what I mean? It's just,
well, as I process that, I would say going back 26 years and looking at each type of market we've been in, there's always something going on, right? It's either gas prices here or a war is brewing, a war is underway, or presidential election years have weird things that happens with the marketplace, the people that are, they're uncertain about what to do next. And so it's kind of like that. There's always something going on that's going to drive the market. And yet, we look at real estate and we find that, and this is what I'm involved in with my coaching program, and realizing that there are folks that still are thriving through that. And we have to ask ourselves, why is it? Why is it that some are doing extraordinarily well in that same market condition, and yet others might be struggling? And there's a reason for it. And that's what I am spending most of my time with and in, and it's that conversation. You can see, not there, but right here, identity. Try to do that. Try to do it. There it is. Identity before identity before strategy, which is a part of my coaching, which says, hey, look, this is an inner game here, and figuring out what it is that drives high performance in real estate, and because it matters, I mean, we got into this industry because we want to serve and we want to, earn an income that is able to fund our perfect lives. And unfortunately, many don't experience that in this industry because it is tough, So it's something to keep in mind as we're going about what we're doing, is that the markets are always going to be here and there and everywhere, and it's our job to step into it and figure out, what it is that's going to take to win.
I love how you said that you restructure to kind of go with what's happening at the moment, because real estate does change a lot. It could be, like you said, buyer's market. Next thing you know, it's a seller's market. And I think in the long run, everybody ends up getting what they want eventually, And I think I talked to a couple of people, and a guy a while back is getting a bunch of repo properties. So are y'all getting a lot of that where you're at now? Foreclosures or anything coming out?
No, I just read something this morning, Patrick, that they're up 23% last quarter. That's a national stat. So
yeah, so that's not horrible.
I mean, where we are, everyone would love to see a foreclosure pop on every once in a while. I mean, investors would, but not everyone. But investors would love to see that. But that's just not. It's very uncommon to see one. I mean, there might be one or two on the market right now. Isn't it interesting?
We're getting them, and they're coming through, and it seems like a lot of the, 15 to 16 years ago when we had a ton of them going through. I learned how to do the paperwork with one of my agents that worked in my office with me. She did a lot of Fannie Mae and HUD repos. So I listened to her and I watched what she did, and she helped teach me how to do a lot of that. The paperwork, it can be stressful, but at that point, I mean, it was a sad time, but a lot of people got in homes that wouldn't be able to get into homes. I mean, unfortunately, a lot of people lost their homes, and then you had a lot of people getting into homes, and I hate to see anybody lose their home, so hopefully we don't ever get back to anything like that. I mean, because people work hard for what they have, and they enjoy it, and that's all part of it. And I like how what we're talking about. I think it's important, like what you said, to kind of remember, if something's not working, let's go back to what used to work, either, cold calling or just stopping by and visiting people. I tell agents a lot of time, I said, just walk around the store, with your name tag on. I mean, a lot of times, people are out there. People aren't coming in the office as much as they used to, as far as looking for a realtor. We still get that. And some agents don't like having to, I got to drive all the way over there to their house to get them to sign this. Just think about it. And I get tickled because when I got in the interstate in the business, one guy, it was funny because he's like, what, we had to do this 4 years ago. It was all on piece of paper. It was handwritten, He said, we didn't have none of this stuff. He said, when you had multiple offers, you were boom, 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 all over town getting your paperwork.
Right. Isn't it? Yeah, it was totally that way. And it's so hard to believe, isn't it? Like the first, contracts we'd write, we had the carbon, like the multiple copies. You had to press real hard to get all the way through the bottom. Now, you try to tell that to someone that's just starting off the business and they're in their like early 20s, they'd be like, how do you, now we get offers digitally, of course, we get multiple offers. We don't even need to get out of the chair we're sitting in right now. So efficiency certainly has gone up, which is
it's funny because if you think about it, like you say, when you go look, when I first got, like I said, I've been 16 years doing this, and I got the first time I wrote an offer, they scanned it. I scanned it in, and I sent it to them, fax machine,
yeah. Oh yeah.
When I got it back, actually the office was across the street from me, so the agent brought it to me to meet me because, like I said, I just got into real estate. And she dropped it off, and we got to talking. And when she left, I got to looking at it. And I was like, "Good God!" I felt like I was back in school. It was like line with a red pen, initial with the red pen. We're gonna make this adjustment, and it was all over my contract, red ink. I'm like, no, this can't be right. So I redid the whole contract, because I didn't like that red ink. That used to drive me crazy when somebody would do that versus taking a minute, going in there, typing it up instead of making a line, send me the counter offer. Took me a while to get through that, but it was hard.
Yeah. I'm with you on
I was
that
just
one.
having flashbacks of school, red ink all over my offer, and it's like, it was like, anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting industry. I mean, because, there's a lot of folks that come into this we come in from different areas, it's different backgrounds. And so we bring ourselves to the equation. And so some people just are more detail oriented. I think that serves you in this business because of the cross of the T's and dotting the I's and making sure everything is just right, because a contract is a really important conveyance.
Yeah.
I mean, you just, I mean, there are thousands and thousands of dollars that are lost in contract errors and omissions on a daily basis in real estate. Unfortunately, a lot of sellers and buyers don't realize that the mistakes were in there, and they kind of carry on through, and later on they might realize it. But that's why it's important to have somebody that's not only a fiduciary as an agent, someone who looks out for someone else, but also just cares deeply about accuracy. That's important. And not doing sloppy work and rushing it through, just have a critical eye for detail, making sure that everything is buttoned up just so. I mean, I look at this thing, I've been doing this for a very long time. A quarter of a century is a long time. Let's put a timer on the table and let that sucker go down. That's a long time. So I still look it over 3 or 4 times just to make sure, and I'll be darned if I don't catch something on that last go through that I'm so glad I did, because that one thing I missed, for example, like you leave out something like the seller wants to make sure they hold on to the whatever it is. Let's say it's a hot tub. Oh, this is huge. Like, Kevin, we want to make sure we keep our hot tub, so it's not included in the contract. Well, what if you just forget to counter that out? Well, now we have an $8,000 to $10,000 problem. So who's paying for that? Well, I mean, I think it's on the agent if they miss that stuff, or there's going to be a negative review that happens as a result. So it's an interesting business. I think it takes an individual that is a multifaceted, has an critical eye for detail, has a caring fiduciary way about them, sort of a heart of a teacher, the mind of a psychologist and psychiatrist, and also the brain and the intuitiveness of a strategist, marketing operator, social media expert, combined with a telephone prospector. You put those all together and you got an operations master, and you've got yourself one heck of a real estate professional.
I think there's enough of business for everybody. And it's like so many people say, well, I mean, you don't know that person's how they run or who they hang with. I might see them once a week, at Walmart or something like that, but that don't mean that person's going to use me as their agent. Her brother may be a real estate agent. You never know. I mean, and
that's right.
It's a hard business to make it in. I mean, you have to stick with it. I mean, when I got that first counter offer, my contract rewritten, I was embarrassed to take it to my broker. And then, of course, he's looking over it. And as soon as I walk out, he's like, wait, you missed this. I'm like, really? More red ink. Way to go. But it's things like that help us remember. And it's important, I think, to remember. This is like a very big expense. This may be a one-time thing that anybody does in their life. So it's very important that we're there to help people through the process, and even our sellers. It's a lot of education. I don't like seeing people leave. Like, I like to call it money on the table. I mean, and it's like spending money after money. Like the seller's going to go in there. I'm going to repaint the whole inside of the house. It's going to cost me $5,000. Leave it alone. I said, the new buyer's going to come in. You spend $5,000, they spend $5,000 to repaint everything. Give them a $5,000 credit for paint. That way, let them pick what they want. And that to me, it's even with flooring and a lot of that. I mean, it's like, okay, seller replaces all the floor. Buyer comes in, hates the floor, replaces all the floor. So a lot of times I think that can be stopped. And then the aspects, I've been meeting a lot of people. I started this 311 and I've been meeting people all over. And there are so many different aspects of real estate. Like yesterday we were talking to a lady in Illinois. She was telling me about she helps older people or seniors looking into transitioning, smalling down, so to say.
Yeah.
And I never really thought, I mean, I know we'll do like an estate sale, if the owner passes and they don't have anybody to do, a lot of times we'll all get together and we'll help them get an estate sale ready to help the family and stuff like that. But I never thought of saying, okay, get ahead of the game, start downsizing, and then we're going to move into one of the smaller communities that may be a 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom, 1-bath kitchen, downsizing that away. And I thought that was really interesting because I didn't realize there was actually companies that you could go out there and do that to help people. So that was very interesting. And then
that's a huge. If you think about the demographics, though, that's a smart business. That's a smart thing to lean into. I have a segment of my company that we do the same thing called the senior smooth move system, which we have an entire downsizing process. We have help you transition into a condo or a lot of times into assisted living or independent living, whatever the case may be. But yeah, this is getting bigger and bigger. It's a smart thing to get a hold of if you're an agent that wants to have a niche that's growing,
Yeah, I never thought about that. I mean, it's just something that didn't ever pop in my head. I just traditionally, you have your house, stay in it till, it's different. There's a lot of different aspects. I mean, we do a lot of teaching, and that is a good thing. To have that, I like that. Being able to do that would help people downsizing. And it makes sense. Of course, I've seen some people when they downsize, we're going from a 5,000 square foot home to a 3,000 square foot home.
Well, nonetheless, it's still, yeah. I mean, it's still complex. I mean, you still have to. It's stressful because people don't know what to do with their stuff. They don't know if they start with a garage sale, do they start with an estate sale? How do you compartmentalize this stuff? It just gets overwhelming. So analysis paralysis sets in. And they end up, doing nothing or freaking out and getting rid of everything. I mean, it's an entire process. The downsizing methodology it's documented. There's a system for it, just like anything else that works well. And folks need help with that. And especially those that are downsizing from or transitioning from, usually it's a condo situation into is assisted living or independent living in a community. That's where the real stress sets in, because not only are they getting rid of their stuff, but they need to figure out how you can take what they are bringing with them over to the assisted living centers. And we help with that. We have an entire process and a team that not only unpacks them or packs them up, gets them transitioned, downsized, but then also moves their stuff over to the assisted living and then unpacks it there and gets rid of the boxes and puts things into where it need to go. Now that's an entire process. That's an A to Z.
Nice.
Yeah, it's super nice. It's that, gosh darn it, they need help with that, and that's why we leaned into it so much,
And it definitely, the older we get, I mean, I know, like I said, my feet, oh Lord, it's just every day, just keep me moving. Things happen in life. I told somebody the other day, I said, if we could just take 5 or 10 minutes every morning and we knew how to plan our day, and I said, but this real estate, I love it. I was like, I may be planning this, but something may pop up or a buyer may be coming to town all of a sudden, so it's kind of like schedule changes a lot, but it's all good. I like to make it easier for everybody else. I don't have to answer to a boss. I can change my time off. I would rather that buyer not miss work because of going to look at a house. I would rather do their work around my hours. You know what I'm saying? Because most of the time they're off by 3 or 4 in the afternoon, and that's still plenty of time to go look at houses here. So,
yeah.
What would be one of your biggest things you could think of with new agents, how to help them stay focused? Because right now it's kind of hard for them to keep the momentum going. Just struggling with a lot of, like I said, the slow market and things like that. What could you Give me something we can talk to the new agents about where they won't feel like they're just out there. There's support out there. And the biggest thing is like not to give up.
Yeah.
I suggest people. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I see this in new agents. I see this in agents that have been doing this for a while. I see it across the board. But for new agents, I feel for the new agent, because the new agent the competition is fierce right now, and they're getting into an industry that's changing rapidly. With the introduction of AI now, with so much that we're doing, and they're getting so much coming their way. We are as agents. From marketing messages, and do this and do that, and pay for this and pay for that. And this is the solution to all of your problems. And that is a challenge, because they don't have the years of experience to inform the decision-making faculty. So they can't decide, is this the thing that I need? And they want the silver bullet. They want the easy button. And the truth of the matter is the easy button does not exist. It's a myth. It's a fallacy. At the end of the day, what every real estate agent needs to understand is the game that is being played. They have to understand the game, and they have to understand who's winning the game, and then make a decision do they want to be on that side or they want to be on the other side, which then leads them down the path of going back to their JOB. So underneath it, as a starting point, you see the identity before strategy behind my right ear here. Okay, there's a reason why that's front and center. People are probably looking at that more than they are at me. Good, is because fundamentally there's several aspects to that. But having a reason for doing something, a motivation, a motive that will propel an individual beyond the difficulty, and which means drawing a line in the sand. Most people, in fact, everybody, I think, that has had a turning point in their life, they drew a line in the sand and they said, no more. This is never going to happen again this way. I'm never going to be broke. I'm never going to have a boss tell me what to do. I'm done. Game over. It's it. But they have to cement that so strongly that when they get into this business and they have to say, I am willing to do whatever it takes, and mean it. And I've had people say that, I'm willing to do whatever it takes, but the challenge with their comment is they had no idea what they're about to get themselves into. Okay? I'm training for a half Ironman right now. So before I came on with you today, I jumped in the pool. I knocked out 2,000 yards. Patrick, catch me 3 weeks ago. I swam 500 yards and I thought I was going to drown. And so I'm committed. How am I doing this? Is because I made a decision up front in the very beginning that I'm going to see this thing through. I'm going to swim like an Ironman, and I'm going to get out of the water feeling good, confident, and boldly ready to get on that bicycle and ride the bike 55 miles, which is what's required.
Wow.
And then run a half marathon after that. Now, I made that decision 60 some days ago. I'm not making it every morning. Do you see that? If I had to make that decision every morning, then what would come into play is the following question. How do I feel right now? So the problem with that is I never feel like jumping in the water and swimming 2,000 yards. I never do that. That's 20 football fields. So
I'm still on riding 55 miles on a bike. Dang.
Well, then imagine. So when you get off the bike, though, Patrick, what comes on the heels of that is as you run a half a marathon. Wow. And so there's this thing called a brick run, and we can get back to the question at hand here. A brick run is when you get off your bike. When I first learned about this, so like you're going to ride your bike for 2 hours, which is my training, and you get off and you run for 20 minutes. I'm like, easy squeezy. I just ran a marathon. I've ran 3 marathons I ran a marathon and 2 half marathons in the last 9 months. Wow. So for me, I'm thinking that's easy. What's a brick run? Well, a brick run is when you get off a bike after 2.5 hours and your legs are toast, like game over. Your legs are saying, I'm done. But then you put your shoes on and you start running and you feel like you're just dragging bricks because it's so hard. And your body has to get used to that behavior. So why am I sharing all this? Because
I'm glad you are. It's inspiring. You know?
Well, thank you. You know, my daughter called me and she lives in, she goes to school in North Carolina, but she's home for summer now, and she's doing it with me. So she just called me. I'm going to say, hey, Dad, you want to do a half Ironman? I'm like, I'm good. I'm running. That's good. But she said she wanted to do one, so we're doing it together. But going back to the question on the agent, the new agent, boy, being committed to something, a commitment is a commitment. It's a committed decision, which means you cut all ties with the possibility of retreat. And doing whatever it takes doesn't mean just doing what is comfortable for you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It means doing what is you doing the best you can do, but then finding out the best it can be done. And so bringing with you a desire to learn and grow, an eagerness to improve at every turn, finding out what others are doing in your industry that allows them to perform at the highest possible level, how they're providing for their families, despite the market condition. Identity before strategy, dang it this way, there it is about that. So as a new agent, find out the reason why you got in this business to begin with. Cement the decision up front that you're going to do whatever it takes no matter what. Go to the conferences, learn from the best. I mean, the agents that do extremely well, they go to conferences, come back and apply one thing. Go to a conference, take it, learn it, assimilate, go to work with it. Those that fail over and over again, they say the following: I don't have time to go. You don't have time. You're never going to have time. Well, how is it that they have time? It's interesting. So learn, grow, improve, follow what others are doing, and then come back in your marketplace and apply that one thing and do it over and over again. You're going to look up after 10 years and you're going to have, money will not be a factor for you. You will have served hundreds and hundreds of clients. You'll have an amazing business, and one that you can do as long as you want, because it's serving you and your family. There's my advice for the new agent.
I love it. And like I tell the agents and sellers, everybody, if you have a question, ask, call, email, or whichever. It doesn't cost anything for me to give you a response on stuff. Like I said, a lot of things people just don't realize. A lot goes into buying a home, and a lot goes into selling a home. There's a lot to it, and I think a lot of people just are nervous and they don't know where to start. I took renters. I used to, when I first started, I would show rental properties just to get used to going and meeting people, out at houses and things like that. And a lot of the people didn't realize nobody ever took them and told them how they could get a mortgage, or there was a grant for the first time buyer program. We can get you $6,000 to help with your closing costs and things like that. And some people leave that on the table, and a lot of that, there's programs out there. Just ask. I mean, girl called me the other day wanting a house, and she didn't know where to begin, and I got her in one. And she got such a great deal on it. 3.99 for 30 years. Brand new house.
Oh, wow.
I mean, boom.
That's good.
I mean, her note on a $250,000 house was cheaper than an older home for around 120 to 130 price range. Interest rate, because she got 3.99. But with the insurance and taxes, being this a newer home, you're billed the code. So you're going to be saving money on your taxes, your power bill, everything, and it's a new home, and she's starting out. She's young, like 23 or 24, It's like, I wish I had that in my head at that time frame to be buying a house or thinking about anything like that.
Right on. That's awesome, man. Really good.
Well, Kevin, I'm excited to hear how you do on your swimming, biking. Where is that going to be held at?
It's so I'm going to hold up my hand, because this is what all Michiganders do. So the next time you say the word Michigan, Patrick, you got to hold up your hand so people know. But you have to visit Michigan. You have to say, here's where I am. So Michigan is a mitten, the state up there with the lakes all around it. It's shaped like a mitt. So I live here. We're about 30 minutes from Lake Michigan here. So if I just were to go up the side, it's a town called Frankfurt, not Frankfurt, Germany, Frankfurt, Michigan, and it's on the water. It's a beautiful little kind of a coastal town, and it's September 20th. I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah, September 20th. So we have about 60 days until we're hitting the water, hitting the bike, and hitting the run. And it's on.
I'm going to watch that. You're going to remind me. I'm going to put it in my calendar so I can catch up with you. I want to see how you do it. I mean, that's huge.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Kevin, I'm running over our time we had scheduled. I do, every time I get to talking to you, I can't stop talking. But we'll do it again after your triathlon. Kevin,
let's do it.
Tell everybody how they can reach you and kind of go, and we'll talk after your marathon.
Yeah, absolutely. So as we're talking about these concepts and helping folks, I coach entrepreneurs through this program called Infinite You. Launching the program on October 14th, 2026. The base program is called Infinite You, which is it's not just a coaching program. It's an identity transformation system for entrepreneurs. It's lesson driven, but it's also live coaching. It's one of a kind, and there is nothing else on the market today that helps an individual lock in a goal, break through mental barriers, identify what's holding them back, bust through the other side, lean into identity before strategy, lock in the common denominator of success, adjust their attitude so it's rock solid despite what's going on right in front of them, develop a money consciousness so that abundance and prosperity is natural and normal and flows from them. Step into the mode of a sales superstar, somebody who can influence somebody to take action in their right direction, like real estate, for example, or mortgage or whatever business you're in. And finally, come out the other side and turn around and then give the best version of yourself to the world. This is what this is. And the ultimate form of fulfillment is being able to work on ourselves first. I believe that personal growth and development is the best gift that we can give to our family, our friends, our mates, our society, the people that we work with, our clients, because we've then filled our cup and we have so much it's pouring over. And if somebody is listening to the way I'm describing this identity first transformation, stepping into any industry you're getting ready to get into, and you find yourself wondering, well, you're capable of more, but you're not sure what's actually holding you back, which is really where I was before I walked down this path of personal growth and development. I would encourage you just to take a free assessment. And I've built out an assessment at infiniteuassessment.com. Infinite U, so infinite, the word infinite, and then the letter U, assessment.com. And then that will help, it'll identify the pattern, paradigm, or identity ceiling most likely limiting your next level, whether it's real estate or anything that you're involved in. You want to start a new business, go out on your own. There's a cap that there's a self-image measure. There's a self-image limiting belief running the show, and we have to identify what that is, break through it. So this will help you with this. It'll help you get clarity on what the thing is. So infiniteuassessment.com. And of course, if you want to look at video content, I do a lot of videos on self-image, paradigms, goal setting, breaking through mental barriers, and frameworks around this. You can find me on YouTube at Infinite You by Kevin, at Infinite You by Kevin.
So, Kevin, I appreciate it again, and I look forward to talking to you.
Absolutely,
in 3
Patrick.
or 4 months after that run.
Thank you, brother.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye, y'all.
You too. Thanks. See ya.
Thank y'all again for taking the time to come along my venture with me. I am Patrick Merrill, and I hope you have been lifted. If not, let me know. We'll figure out a way. There's always a way. Thank y'all again for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and tell your friends. Y'all have a great day.